Dandy's World has reached a huge number of players and has become incredibly popular over the past couple of years. But it's not the only game with a massive fandom. Just like Dandy's World, there are other games that have built enormous communities, such as Cookie Run Kingdom, a game filled with countless cookie characters. Over the years, it has featured some amazing collaborations including K-pop Demon Hunters, Sonic, Wicked, and many more. But what would happen if this game had a collaboration with Dandy's World? What would our favorite toons look like as cookies? In this video, we're about to find out, thanks to Yann, who created a series of illustrations imagining what this incredible collaboration could look like and shared them on TikTok. So let's begin. Starting with the main toons, we have Astro. In his cookie version, we can see that his sleeping cap is much longer. He's wearing a white striped pajama set, and his blanket now has a bright blue trim along the bottom. He even has hair now, with a texture that resembles a sky full of stars. If Astro ever joined Cookie Run Kingdom, he'd most likely be a magic cookie positioned in the rear. Looking at Shelly, her cookie version has fluffy frosting-like hair with plenty of icing. She also wears a pair of goggles on top of her head, and besides her signature brown dress, she's now wearing a lighter-colored long-sleeve shirt underneath along with a pair of boots. Shelly could easily be a bomber cookie, throwing rocks and fossils at enemies while staying safely in the rear, just like Astro. V's cookie design is completely different. She now has black hair with green highlights and wears a long green jacket, a white shirt, a green bow tie, and black striped pants. Instead of having her tail, she only carries her microphone. Because of that, I think she'd also fit the magic type like Astro, summoning powerful electric bursts to attack enemies. Although I imagine she'd fight from the middle position instead. Sprout has a really eye-catching design. Besides the leaves on his head, he now has matching green hair, bright green eyes, and still wears his iconic scarf. It also looks like he's wearing a headscarf with the same pattern. His outfit consists of a green shirt, blue pants, brown shoes, a green apron, gloves, and he's carrying what looks like a pink gummy bear pancake. Because of that, Sprout would most likely be a healer cookie, staying in the rear and handing out pancakes to restore his teammates' health. In her cookie version, Bobette wears earmuffs that resemble Christmas ornaments. She now has hair, a winter hat with fluffy light green trim and sparkling details, a green dress, red gloves, and matching boots. Everything about her screams Christmas, making her a perfect representation of the holiday season. She could work as either a support cookie or even a bomber cookie. I can imagine her using presents to boost her ally stats, or throwing explosive gifts at enemies from either the rear or even the middle. Bassie is one of my favorite cookie designs because it stays incredibly faithful to her toon appearance. She wears a hat decorated with flowers and leaves, and instead of the basket straps on her head, she now has braided hair. Rather than a skirt, she wears a beautiful petal-shaped dress in different shades of lavender, along with green tights. Bassie would probably be a support cookie, randomly collecting items from the battlefield and using them to grant different buffs to her teammates while staying clear and safe in the rear. Gordy is actually my favorite cookie design because he reminds me a lot of Pumpkin Pie Cookie, who has always been one of my favorites in Cookie Run Kingdom. In this version, Gordy wears a pumpkin helmet, has orange and green hair, black and yellow eyes, an orange shirt with oversized sleeves, a black jacket, green pants, and a matching cape. He'd probably be a magic cookie, throwing Halloween candy to deal damage while fighting from the middle, where he wouldn't be too exposed to enemy attacks. For Pebble, there are actually two different cookie designs. One of them resembles the cakes that are commonly seen throughout Cookie Run Kingdom, except instead of strawberries, Pebble has a pair of crystals on top while keeping his signature colors and icing decorations. In the second design, Pebble looks much more like an actual cookie dog. He has tiny icing ears on top of his head, along with a colorful collar. It's hard to decide what type and position would fit Pebble best, but I think he could have an ability that lets him grow larger, similar to his twisted form, while still remaining an ally and attacking enemies directly. Because of that, I'd make him a charge cookie fighting from the front. Shrimpo keeps his signature hatred for everything, even in his cookie form. He still has his shrimp-shaped head, huge orange eyebrows, a black shirt, a red jacket with white details, brown shorts, red gloves, orange shoes, bandages around his arms, and scratches on his legs. Shrimpo would definitely be a charged cookie, standing proudly in the front and punching anything that gets in his way. Finn's cookie version is quite different. Since he's no longer a fishbowl, his hat now serves that purpose by keeping Barnaby safely inside. He also has hair, wears an orange headband, keeps his iconic life jacket, and instead of pants, he wears loose shorts along with white socks and shoes. Hanging from his hat is what appears to be a fish-shaped fishing lure. It's a little difficult to picture Finn's role, but I think he'd work well as a support cookie, using his fishing hook to pull in an enemy and temporarily stop them from attacking. Because of that, he'd probably belong in the middle position. I think Tisha has one of the cutest cookie designs. Her tissue has been transformed into a white lock of hair that stands out from the rest. She has freckles, wears a blue maid outfit, and never goes anywhere without her feather duster. Since she's obsessed with cleaning, Tisha would make a great support cookie. Her cleaning abilities could remove every debuff affecting her teammates, making her another cookie that belongs in the rear. Brusha stays very close to her Toon design. Instead of paintbrush bristles on top of her hair, she now has hair covered in colorful paint stains. Her eyes are a striking shade of purple. She still wears her white long-sleeve shirt and her apron is a bit longer. She also seems to be wearing a blue skirt along with shoes. Brusha would probably be a magic cookie, attacking enemies with paint or artwork while applying negative effects like slowing them down. Poppy has a lot of charm in her cookie version. Her hair is made entirely of bubbles. She still wears her iconic pink bow, and her dress is much more detailed, while keeping her signature pink and yellow stockings. Poppy would likely become a support cookie. Since she's obsessed with soda, she could share it with her teammates to reduce their skill cooldowns, making the rear the perfect place for her in battle. Finally, Boxton looks quite different as a cookie. He now wears a purple cap with his music box key attached to the back. His hair has a square-shaped style. He still wears his scarf, and instead of regular pants, he now has blue overalls over a purple shirt. He also carries a small bag with him. It's difficult to say what role Boxton would have, but I think he could become a magic cookie, using his melodies to put enemies to sleep. And considering how timid he is, he'd definitely stay all the way in the rear. If you could choose just one of these cookies to become an official part of Cookie Run Kingdom, which one would you pick? Personally, I absolutely love